can't.
Letty, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, we're recording, so you can go ahead and start the meeting if you'd like.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm actually going to start off the meeting by announcing my resignation. So I just want to give everybody a note that I'm really grateful for the last 3 years that I've been able to serve in the commission. I moved here in 2017, so I immediately began to look for ways to get to know this beautiful community, the members, and a way to support the growth of all these really cool artistic projects, no matter how big or small they were. Just the general idea was to bring some appreciation and community bonding over art. But unfortunately, and I know this is the same for a lot of us with current events, I have reevaluated my efforts in giving, and I majorly reprioritized my time. For many who don't know, I actually took over chair. I think it was November of 2018, and it was with some experience as a commissioner, but I had absolutely no training and was hoping to get some in the process. And so I literally crossed my fingers and would hope that I would learn how to be an effective commissioner through the projects that we were doing, and then, of course, from other seasoned commissioners. As the chair, I did try to give my very best to guide and to advise my fellow commissioners, attempt to follow policies while learning them. So I'm so sorry to Jamie and Don for like the millions of questions that I had. And then especially to pick up where ex-Commissioner Jen Farrington had left us an amazing trail to become an effective ACC. I did try to accommodate needs when it came to projects such as the trash can painting. A lot of you can attest that we have a lot of really pretty trash cans out there because of this particular project. But of course, the important thing is just to bring the awareness to the community of how the Arts and Cultural Commission could help them get their own art projects and cultural projects off the ground. But at this point, it's extremely clear to me that it's time for me to say my goodbye and to share my skills along with my passion where it is needed. So it's heartfelt, and I want to wish the very best to and luck to Ken, Carly, and Jenna, who are going to take the reins. And I know the ACC is in good hands.
Letty, will you be staying on for this meeting, or are you signing off right now?
My understanding is that my term as chair was over and that they would be voting on a new chair tonight. So I don't see where
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Oh, I said that my understanding is that my term as chair has been completed. I fulfilled 2 terms, and that tonight they are going to be voting in a new chair and co-chair. So I was going to go ahead and bow out.
Okay. Margaret or
Where's she at? Well, y'all.
the vice chair, who is Kim O'Hanlon, is not here as well. Margaret, who would be the next person to take charge for this meeting?
Well, Ken and Jenna were appointed on the very same day.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Do either one of you want to step forward, at least for tonight's meeting?
I don't know who is the phone number that's listed. Is
that is Dawn. So Dawn.
Oh,
That's
okay.
me.
Yep.
Hi. I thought maybe we might have had Carly change her mind and join us, because she has probably 3.5 months more seniority. So I don't know, toss a coin.
Jenna or Ken, do you have any preference on?
Oh, I don't have a preference and I don't mind, but I'll be very honest, I have no idea
what I would say next.
Well, I think the first thing is, Letty, I do want to say thank you. And I know you will probably get some other thank you emails for your efforts and commitment to the Arts Commission right now. If it is possible for you to just write a simple email to Margaret and Kathy, just so we have something in writing about your resignation.
It's already been sent.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for doing that. And I guess, Letitia, you're free to go if you want, but you're welcome to stay as a community member if you'd like as well.
Okay, thanks you guys. See you around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Ken or Jenna, welcome to uncharted territory.
Wow, no kidding.
So I think Ken, do you have a copy of the agenda?
Yes, I do. I'm going to have to pull it up in my email.
Or we can, I'm not sure if Jenna has it available, more readily available. I can at least see Jenna, so it looks like she's in front of a computer.
I am. Couple seconds here. Okay, I've got it.
Okay, so
Yeah, that would be
since the
easier.
meeting was called to order already by Letitia, the next thing would just be going to the first thing on the agenda.
Okay. So, are there any visitors who would like to address the commission?
Visitor?
We have some.
Hi, I'm a visitor. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. Hi, I just came to visit on the Arts and Cultural Commission today. My name's Nina Reed, and I'm just here to listen. I'm not on your agenda, so thank you very much.
Okay.
Donna, did you have something?
I did. So hi guys, I'm Shauna Duggan. I'm the recreation manager for the city of St. Helens. And I just wanted to come on here to say that instead of doing the trunk or treat this year, we're going to do a different type of event called a drive-through boo. And it's going to be behind the rec center. And so anybody who wants to have a booth there is more than welcome to. I'll post the information in the chat for you guys to sign up. I know the Arts Commission has had a booth in the past, so I just wanted to come on here just to let you know that we do have an alternative to the trunk or treat. So this will be where families are driving through instead of getting out of the cars. It will be a very low touch point. We are asking that each booth provides some sort of treat or swag for the kids that we will combine into one bag to hand out at the very end, so there's not a bunch of passing out things. So I'll put that in there. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. So awesome job on the Arts Commission. I like what you guys are doing, and I look forward to hearing more about what plans you have for the Halloween time.
Thank you.
So Jenna, I don't see any other comments in the chat or anybody else online, so you're welcome to move ahead to the next meeting agenda.
Great. So, did everybody get a chance to review the fiscal report? And
Yeah, not much going on there.
okay. So, let's see here. Sorry, do I ask for approval of the
No, you don't have to have approval.
just make sure that everybody.
Yep,
got
it's
things
just
laid
a
out?
time for if there's any questions that the commission has.
Okay. And did you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. There was not much action this year, so no questions.
Okay, so then we'll move on to discussion item number 2, the ACC review, municipal code rules and responsibilities.
I think Councilor Rachel, if I'm not mistaken, Councilor Topaz was going to start.
Right. My job is to give you an overview of what the Arts and Cultural Commission is. Rachel is going to tell us about how we have to do it, the rules and regulations. One of the things that's kind of a misnomer is the Arts and Cultural Commission is not made up of a group of artists. The fact that they are artists is very helpful for what they do, but our real job is to facilitate art. Now, the art may be coloring pumpkins, some 1 or 2 hour type operation sometime or a couple times a year, or major projects, or filling out requests that the city council has put forward. Now, the next thing that comes up in this discussion is public art. Let's say the Arts Commission has talked to a building owner and they want us to put on a large mural. Obviously, we have to raise money and there's a number of codes that have to be looked into. So all of a sudden, the Arts Commission becomes a bookkeeper and a fundraiser. But this is not public art. This is art on a private building that the public can see. Public art, everybody's got to be able to get to and touch, if you would. And that means the handicapped. So you can't put a nice statue off in the middle of the woods when nobody can get to it unless you build the road. Well, now the Art Commission is in the road building business. Obviously, they're going to have to somehow get that work done, which means going outside their comfort zone to get people to help or hire people. So the Arts and Cultural Commission is a business operation at that point. Another part of the Art and Cultural Commission is to find out from the community, what does the community want in the way of art? Part of what our job is by law, and Rachel will get into all of this, certain amounts of major projects, as far as percentages of money, have to go into public art. And sometimes that's a huge put off just because of all the legalities and steps that have to go through. And sometimes we forget that because that many times is a hard part of the work and the most thankless part of the work and the part of the work that other people will take credit for. Like when we put the art on the bridges on Route 30, a huge part of that process was dealing with ODOT. The other part was getting material, people to drill holes in the bridges and mount things. So that's engineering. And obviously you had to raise money. And each of these things requires people, different types of people. Even though it's the Art Commission's job to get it done, they don't necessarily have to do it. And that's one of the things that we really haven't faced, was how do we do it? Sometimes we think we have to do it, and that's not really true. And I say that because, well, I don't know how to build roads, so I'm not going to be on the Arts Commission. I'm not going to volunteer. Well, it's not your job to get the road built. It's your job to find someone to get the road built and find the money. So you start having multi-faces to get the art done, but you're not doing it. And this is where the community has to come together, because this is where the talent of the community, they're not artists, in getting these other jobs done. And one of the jobs is raising money. And one of the things the community can do is donate. Also, the city should donate. Now, another part of our problem is art brings people into town. So a part of our essence is tourism. And at one time, tourism did fund us for some of the trash can painting and some of the early events. And this goes back 10 or so years. And now the tourism has become more formalized. The mechanism for that has kind of gotten fogged up. And again, I'm going to give Rachel the job of telling how we have to interface with the other departments. Some of the things have to be built on the street. That means we have to talk to engineering. And that means talking to ODOT. So the Arts Commission is a very strange thing. Now, one thing the Arts Commission can do, and it doesn't look like you're doing anything, is find out what the community wants. Now, we had a group of architects here talk to a number of people in the community about the waterfront. There was a number of meetings in the same day with a number of people, and the community spoke what they wanted, how they want to be connected to the river. Now, this is quite a job of just getting the ideas from people onto the table, and then they get assembled. And at one point, the community thinks this is what is to be done. This is the art, this is the public space, this is what the waterfront's going to be done. Obviously, other things come into play. Where do you put roads? Where does this law fit? Can you talk with the Army Corps of Engineers? And part of the job of the Art Commission now is to make sure we know what the people wanted is still in the plans, and the people find out exactly what's happening, even if there has to be little changes. So it's not a straightforward, you're doing art, you're facilitating art, whether it's music, statues, fireworks, painting, little things where we have a lot of kids doing pumpkin painting one weekend, coloring fish another weekend. There's a number of classified little things that are called art. The other problem that the Arts Commission has, and almost any art group has, there's some people that just don't like it. They don't like it because you spent too much money. It's the wrong type of art. And so you have to come with a little thick skin to realize some absolutely fantastic stuff. You're going to have people tell you you don't like it. I don't want to soft pedal. It's great when you do great work, because there's some people that will tell you they don't like it. Now this is where I give the job to Rachel to tell you how this has to be done. And because it's public art and there's public money, well, she'll explain many of the laws and the requirements that the law puts on us that we have to stay within. And it's almost like grants. You've got to have 97 pages worth of paperwork for 3 pages worth of research. Same with art. It's your turn, Rachel, to pass it on.
Well, thank you, Councilor Topaz, and thank you for having me, and thank you, members, for being here. And I believe we've met, but my name is Rachel Barry. I'm the Government Affairs and Project Support Person for the city. I also, in my free time, I volunteer. I have led volunteers. I have led nonprofits. I do volunteer currently on a nonprofit and in another committee. And it's really important that I find that service meaningful. And my focus has kind of shifted just over the course of the beginning of the meeting. I think it may be more helpful to just have a workshop and talk about roles and responsibilities, talk about a pathway forward. You've had a number of members resign in the very recent history in the past month. So I just want to check in with you members, Jenna and Ken, and just talk a little bit about your passion and why you serve, how long you've been serving on the ACC and why. Jenna, 2 cents? Oh, and you're muted.
You're muted.
Oh,
Sorry, what?
Jenna, you're muted.
Oh, no, you're good.
No, now you're better.
oh, just speak up, speak
Yeah,
up.
we couldn't hear you.
Volume up.
Oh,
Tell me who you are. You want to serve our city, and let's
can you hear
try
me
and
better?
find. There you go.
Okay, so I've been on the ACC for a little over a year. I think I was brought on last July, I'm pretty sure. And I joined because, so my husband and I, we live in Scappoose, and I wanted to be more involved in the community out in our area. And we're both artists, actually. So, Steve, but it was, I guess I just wanted to be more involved in the community and see like how I could help facilitate getting different like public art pieces out into, and I was hoping like into the whole area, but I know it's specific to St. Helens. And I also, I run a nonprofit that is specific to art education. And so I was interested in, maybe how I could broaden that reach. And again, like just try to help get art making into the community more. That was part of why I joined.
Cool. What's your medium?
Well, I work in kind of a little bit of everything, printmaking and sculpture primarily, but as far
Cool.
as like the teaching everything. So
Cool. Well, thank you. And thank you for your service and for wanting to contribute to our community. Yes. What about you, Ken? I don't think I know you, Ken.
Yeah, we met at the last meeting that you were at.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And time is just so fluid at this point.
Yes, it is.
I barely know. I know that I joined at the same time as Jenna, so I appreciate that reference. So I know now that it's been since last July, which is not long after I moved to St. Helens. And to be honest, I've admired the city for years before I moved here. I was born and raised in Portland, and always felt drawn to this area. It's just just peaceful, beautiful, natural area, and then our waterfront is just incredible. So I initially joined the commission because I felt that there was a lot of empty space and a lot of opportunity, just a lot of just like blank canvas everywhere. The whole city is like just this blank canvas, and just wonderful people, very kind, giving, engaged people that I felt like really drawn to engage with myself as a community. And I think that there are also a lot of really creative people in this community that don't really necessarily have a clear outlet for their creativity, and don't necessarily know, how to share that. And I think there's a lot of opportunity. I actually want to thank you, Councilor Topaz, for everything that you said, because actually this is the most clarity I think I've felt about what the commission is and what we could be doing, because I've had a sense for a long time that, well, whatever we want to do, we can't do. And that's just what the Arts and Culture Commission is. It's the commission of, no, we can't do that. And I don't think that that's true. It's just how we go about doing it. And so I really appreciate that. And I think that there's probably I know there's a lot for me to learn as far as regulations and all of that. And really excited for that.
Thank you so much.
Because I think, again, there's opportunity for this commission.
Hey, Ken, you're starting to break up.
Yeah, we're losing you at the end. No. And thank you so much. And
Can you hear me?
yes,
Let me move.
stay away from that
Is that any
tree.
better?
Shutting down.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
that's much better.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, I suppose I could just close with that. I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and I'm excited. What I really love about this community is that there are a lot of passionate and caring people who are just like, I think, really looking for ways to engage in their community. And I hope to be a part of facilitating that.
Thank you so much, Ken. And you used my favorite word, which is opportunity.
Oh.
No, and that's part of the reason I was invited tonight. I've just been made aware that as a commission, you've kind of been struggling. You're struggling to hold the meetings, to get a quorum, and have struggled with projects, and have struggled with fundraising, and just have really been kind of struggling in the purpose and mission and where you fit with the mission of the city. And I see a fit for you in every bit. If we're talking about quality of life, if we're talking about a safe and healthy environment, and being open and responsive to the community, I think you both really nailed that. And just being that conduit that Councilor Topaz was talking about, for ideas to flow through and then up to council is a really big part of the charge of the ACC. And I was made aware that you haven't made a recommendation, or I don't really see a good fit in the strategic plan. So I wanted to talk to you about your membership, about talents, about kind of a way forward to really engage and be bringing doing more community education and bringing that forward to council and to really move the ball forward on our mission and for more meaningful service. I'm also a culture of yes person. I believe in yes. I believe in yes how. And I really think that's an important part of it's just how I frame it. And that's why I serve, you know, it's yes, let us do this. Let us do the thing. How do we do it? I think it would help, of course, for you to have a clear understanding. And this is just also part of me and who I am is I read a lot of code. And that's the first place I go. I go to mission and then I go to code. And I'd like to review just the very first part of your code section around establishment with you. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about city supports and what sort of support you would need to move forward, what that may look like. And if you want some time for skill building, for planning, to take the time to do that. And another big part with everything in our world right now, it's good to have time to check in and to evaluate your commitments that we just heard from Letitia, like going through, I mean, now I'm homeschooling and I'm distance learning and trying to proctor and trying to work full time. And a lot of things have shifted since you joined, or even in the past couple of months, the whole world has changed. And I appreciate creative minds and how we work around and work through this. So that's back to the opportunities, right? In everything there is an opportunity, but that's really why I'm here. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the section and a way to move forward, do meaningful service. I don't know, Matt, if you're able to share, I just wanted to share that establishment section and talk about the duties of the Arts and Cultural Commission. Yeah, and it's good stuff, and this happens all the time in government, where a group will be founded and they will go along doing the work, and then it kind of morphs into one thing or another, or, you know, I understand you've been project-based and it's not represented here. This happens all the time in government, where you start and you've got passionate folks, or there's a funding opportunity that you chase and you kind of get away from that the core reason for the establishment of the ACC. And this was established to encourage opportunities for recognition of art and culture in the city. And then this other piece that I've heard from both of you, that coordination and communication among different groups. And Jenna, you mentioned, you know, community-wide spread and community-wide opinion and ideas. And Ken talking about just the amazing opportunity and the canvas and the people that we have. This is a big part of the charge, right? Is getting groups and individuals engaged in these activities. And then you've got the bits about funding. Yes, everything costs money, sadly. But yep, and being able to identify funding sources and to make a direct ask or to fill out the application is a big part of making it happen, as Councillor Topaz was saying. And identifying groups and organization. Oh, the enrichment bits. I don't know if I'll bore you with definitions, but art and culture is amazingly broad, as you know. This is all media, all form of expression, all forms of celebration, all, you know. And as you just saw with Shauna being here, there are a lot of natural opportunities for partnership among different departments. This bit about providing a liaison and recommendation to council and to other boards and commissions. This is critical. This is exactly that conduit piece. Taking the community input, taking the vision and moving that up to council. I'm not sure if when you last presented to council, but it's a really important piece, and they need it. They need to hear from people, and it's really powerful when commission members come in, talk about projects and talk about needs. If you need support, like that's what you bring to council too. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about developing a 5-year plan. this is a real big part of why the group was established. And now that we have, our council's done some really hard work to put in place a strategic work plan for the next 2 years. And we tried to pick up things from, you know, parks and trails, from all across internal departments. And I am sad not to see arts and cultural represented there more. And I think that's a great opportunity to do that planning. Some can be capital projects. We would like to build the thing and do the sculpture and that type of thing, or it can be the cultural activities. And I think in Margaret, you've got a great, you know, a great guide in making that type of thing happen. I'm thinking of like the genealogists and some of the library activities that do quite a bit of cultural enrichment and are well attended. And it's really, it can be super broad. And the work of this commission can really flow through every bit of the city. Because ultimately, I mean, Ken, you talked about livability, you talked about the community and that it is a welcoming community. And arts and culture are a part of that, a really big part of that. I think there are some great opportunities right now for you. Oh, here, while we have the definition up right there. I like the definition because it is so broad. And they're not limited to, we've got music, drama, dance, creative writing and poetry, architecture and landscape design, painting, sculpture, photography, graphics, craft and folk art, film and video, and other such endeavors. And I'm sure that you members have more ideas and experience in, you know, I don't see textiles mentioned and I would like that. No, but it's a really broad, it could really be anything. And I take Letty's point to heart too, that she feels that she didn't have proper training. And this is something that the city has been recognizing across all of our boards and commissions, that it starts with a good foundation. And this is part of why I'm here. And I think, Matt, we can be done with that for now. I really just want to have more conversation about types of supports. Hearing that about, you know, not feeling trained or not feeling like you've got the financial backing. You certainly have some amazing staff and council, firepower and support behind you, but it needs to be a good fit. You know, we'd like to encourage more folks to participate in city government. And it's, you know, it's not sexy. There are so many things and there are so many demands on our time too. I see Nina laughing at me. It's not. But there are so many demands on your time, and you made the conscious choice to come and to serve the city. And that is valuable and that is powerful to me. And I really, and as a city team, we want the service to be meaningful. It seems that you're at a point where you're down members, that it may be time to really take a pause and to think about recruiting different talents. And also, if you would like, I mean, I'm happy to come and do the full board and commission training with you. Or if we could get, you know, the Oregon Arts Commission or the Oregon Cultural Trust or some other folks to come in and help and provide training and talk about other successful commissions, that may be something that is really helpful to the group and to a reconstituted group. You right now, I mean, there's a ton of opportunity. There are 3, I mean, you get to build a rock star team if that is the direction. And I want to hear from you, like Ken and Jenna, like what supports would you like to see? What would make the service more meaningful? If you wanted to do planning, you certainly have an engaged counselor and supportive staff. We could certainly take the time for the commission to do the planning work and to do some of that development of your membership. But what are your feelings, and also share your frustrations?
Well, I can speak if so I think it would be really beneficial to have additional support in the form of some training and, like, you know, actually just that review of codes and regulations. And, you know, that's something that I've not seen. And, you know, so we sort of hear by word of mouth, essentially, like I mentioned before, all the things that we can't do. You know, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do this. And which is not inspiring in any way. But I don't think, and I'm not a person that, you know, is interested in focusing on barriers, because I think there's always a way. There's always a way to do anything. And you know, my line of work involves a lot of, you know, working through regulations and rules and finding ways to accomplish the goal, not in spite of the rules and regulations, but in harmony with them. And I think that, like I said, I think anything is possible. So I think increased familiarity and education would be really, really helpful. Because with that foundation, I think it's easier to just move forward with inspiration and free flowing ideas, rather than this sort of preset that just don't even bother because somebody's going to say no. And that's not my experience with life. And I don't believe that has to be anybody's experience unless they choose that experience. So,
yeah, I don't take kindly to that either.
To be really honest, I think some of the projects that we have, that I even see listed right now that we're supposed to review, that I frankly don't know anything about, and don't know if any work has been done on them, and probably not. And I think that some of the things that maybe we've been talking about lately are less than inspired ideas. They're sort of small. They're sort of so we talked about tourism, and I mean, I think the idea of painting the trash cans is fantastic. I wasn't around for that, and that's really like a sweet idea for the community. And I don't think that's something that's going to contribute to tourism, and that's not something that people are going to come to St. Helens and say, "Oh my gosh, look at those trash cans." So I think that there are wonderful, great things that we can do if we're not isolating ourselves. And I think a lot of the conversations tend to become isolated. We're just talking amongst ourselves rather than reaching out and engaging our community. And like you mentioned, everything does cost money, but the more people are involved, often the less money it has to cost. It's really about just involvement and people doing the work. There's so many, I think, really dedicated community members in St. Helens who are just kind of like anxious to do something and contribute in some way. And I think when there are people involved and know what's going on, that's great. I liked how we did the sort of meetups with the community. I like that concept, and rarely did people show up, or many people. And so and even the first one I showed up to, I sat down for, like, you know, I felt like it was an hour that I was sitting there, not sure if I was sitting in the right place, which speaks to a level of engagement and welcoming. And if we're not welcoming our community members, and if we're not even just welcoming when they come to us, but really asking them to come to us, and being really assertive with that welcome in ways, people aren't going to necessarily respond to one light invite, or they might, you know, if they see something once, you know, generally it takes a lot of exposure to a concept before people really buy into it. Yes. And so we have to get that out and be present, really present and visible. And so I'd like to find ways to accomplish that.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you have video on, but I'm nodding along. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can see everybody, but I'm trying to find something to prop my phone up on, but it's not working.
That's always the thing in meetings. I'm like, I don't know if you can see, if you're just on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jenna, anything to add, or what are your feelings? What are your thoughts?
Like Ken really spoke to a lot of the things that I would have mentioned. I agree. Like we do need to find better ways to involve the community, and like we need to do more reach out and see what people want, because I feel like a lot of the projects that we're working on, you know, maybe they're not as interesting to the community, or maybe it's like or we're like doing a project because we did it last year and we did it the year before, and it's not really like asking ourselves like, do people want to see it again, or are we just doing it because we've done it in the past? And so I think that's one of the things for me.
Yeah, and I can see that. Go
Sorry,
on.
go ahead.
No, and that really feeding directly into that planning, you know, if you want to look forward back to the establishment, that 5-year plan for community art, I see a big part of that is, you know, taking it to the street and really sitting with folks and going to where people are and getting that feel and what's going to be meaningful and what do you want to do. As the Arts and Cultural Commission, you have the greatest opportunity to engage folks from all over, you know, is it schools? Is it, you know, our senior center, hopefully when they're back in their congregate setting, you know, but there are amazing opportunities for getting that, for soliciting community input and building a plan based on that. Or, you know, I've seen paint night at Running Dogs and that goes pretty well too, you know, there's a really wide variety of ways to engage folks. And this commission, really, you've got a ton of opportunity and a ton of different ways to do the engagement. It's really freeing. I served the city on the budget committee, not so much with the fun time engagement stuff, you know. And I was just pestering Matt the whole time. It was very terrible. But no, and I wanted to come, you know, I've really been hearing and made aware of some of his struggles. And I think, you know, if there's tons of opportunity, you've got a good opportunity to reset and to really think about different talents and folks you'd want to recruit and being out. And, you know, maybe it's, so as I mentioned, the city, we have developed a training for boards and commissions. And maybe that's not just offered to you as a commission or to, you know, like Parks and Trails and but maybe we do an open invite to the community. And that may be a way to help recruit members and also give folks an understanding of what it means to serve in this type of capacity. Yeah, if a project comes up that folks are super passionate about, there's always a way to do an ad hoc committee too. Like that's always, if here's the thing and there's a spark and a benefactor, by all means, City of St. Helens can support a limited duration bit. Nina, I see your hand. What do you have? You're muted. Unmute.
Hey, Rachel, Nina is not technically part of the Arts Commission, so it would be up to the chair, which I guess would be Jenna now, if she wanted to have public comment at this time.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I
But I'm like, no. Oh, no.
I
Okay.
wanted to
We don't want public involvement, no.
Well, I will be brief. I just want to say, I've been in your shoes where boards tend to fall down a little bit. And so I think of this as really a reset for you. And I think inviting people, like you were saying, is going to be wonderful. And the training, just so that the members feel good, they know what their mission is and what they want to do, and get people excited, because art is amazing in all of its forms. And the collaboration, like I said, finding out what we could collaborate with to make you guys feel like, wow, we're doing something and this is great, and just getting our community excited, because you know, sometimes we don't know all of those wonderful artists out there, and they may be there, and we can let them shine or whatever they need to do and collaborate. Like you said, maybe I was thinking the food bank one day. We could do something with the food bank and the arts and bring people together, and then we meet other people and we can ask them to join and be a member to help us come up with ideas in our 5-year plan. And anyway, I just want to say, I wouldn't feel bad right now. You're in a growing stage and you all want to learn, and you have Steve, Matt, everybody, Jenna, Rachel. I mean, Rachel, you're wonderful. And it's nice to sit in here, and I just want to say, you know, I'm very, very hopeful that it will grow. And that's all I wanted to say.
You're super sweet. You're wonderful. Are you going to come to training?
I probably won't. My husband will kill me because I'm on 4 boards right now.
You can only three things. That's a rule.
But I just want to say, there are just like Jenna. My God, she's an artist. Look at her. She's out here. She's a teacher. There's so many teachers that just love to use their skills and maybe come up with ideas because they're artistic. Artistic people love our ideas, you know, and if they are within your realm for your group, just, I you know, love to help you connect too, just whatever it takes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and for
Rachel,
offering that.
It's really heartwarming to hear you guys tonight, and I know I'm not part of your group, but I just had to say that to you.
Well, and thank you for pointing it out too, because it happens.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's things over the course of time and history and rotation and getting in the, you know, why you cut the end off the ham, you know, it never fit in the pan in grandma's 3 generations ago, and people are still cutting the end off. It's like, no.
It's so wonderful to drive into St. Helens and see the beautiful, just our beautiful, lovely, quaint town, and what we can bring out of our wonderful community to let people express themselves, and whatever support we can give, whether it be volunteer, no money, just volunteer, whatever it can take is what we really want to do is just make that feeling happen. And anyway, thank you. I won't take any more of your time.
You're wonderful. Thank you. And you've got a great point too. Like our region, we've got such a great identity and character, and we are about to boom. We are so moving forward. How do we get more people around the table and more people involved and engaged, and do it and have it reflective of that, of our history and culture, but also where we want to be. And that's, of course, I'm always drawn to the planning, but in the establishment and in, you know, the reason for being for the Arts and Cultural Commission, this is all about that communication and encouraging opportunities, putting together the plan. These are amazingly valuable. And then to be able to feed it to our council, have that approval at that level. It's really a voice from citizens up to council, and to really get it, and to get it on that radar, get it in the strategic plan, get a little bit of oomph behind it. And then you also have a tool to communicate more broadly, right? This is where we need the help. This is where we can use your volunteer or your donation, that type of thing. Yeah, there's a ton of opportunity. We're on the cusp. I really truly believe that for our city and all of South County, our entire region, really. Yeah, and that was mine. I really did. I just wanted to kind of workshop it, and hearing Letitia and hearing some of those themes that I have been made aware of, you know, the lack of training, and in the current climate with everyone's priorities shifting, it's a great opportunity to take a reset, and here is the opportunity. And Jenna and Ken, you've got some really committed folks here at the city, and we know what the mission fit and how important and valuable your service is. I don't know about next steps. I mean, I can offer some ideas. I can certainly offer that, I know you've been meeting every other month and they've been kind of spotty just with attendance and membership. But if you wanted to think about some talents that you'd like to recruit, maybe you reconvene in January. Maybe maybe we try and do a training over the winter. Maybe we try and do that board training, the commission training over the winter. And then to start thinking about plan steps. I want to hear from you kind of how you're feeling about next steps.
I think training over the winter is a great idea. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine, Ken. Go ahead.
I think we were saying the same thing, perhaps. Yeah, no, I do think training over the winter is a fantastic idea. We, as we were going through a small handful of applicants, and by the way, I don't know how applicants are solicited, but I think we could get more. We did have one fantastic applicant that we had the opportunity to interview so far, who I think would be a really great addition. And I think some training and preparation prior to our next meeting would be really fantastic. Help us come in strong and honestly not bring new people into what could be an embarrassing situation. I mean, we want to represent what we believe in, I think. And what we believe in is not necessarily reflected in how we appear today, if that makes sense. I think there is there are some great ideas and great opportunities that could come out. And I agree, St. Helens is just on the verge of a boom. And I would love for the Arts and Culture Commission to be part of ensuring that it doesn't become just another tract home village, but we want to attract people who are interested in continuing to enhance the charming community that it is today.
Yeah.
So and I think we could be a part of that.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. And it takes courage to say that type of thing too. You said it very well.
Well, I'm off screen, so
well, there you go.
I'm just kidding.
I'd like to speak to training. One of the things that I think would be quite helpful for the whole community is have a training session for councils or volunteer groups where the whole community is invited. These are the things that all volunteer groups are going to have to face, not just specifically arts and culture. The idea is to educate a huge amount of people so they have a better idea why they should volunteer as compared to just the people who volunteer. Then after that, train them. Obviously, a lot of people who are going to go to the training meeting or meetings aren't going to volunteer, but at least you've gotten some. It's a good way to, we say, introduce people without breaking their arm, trying to get them into a group in the beginning.
Yeah, that's fabulous. And I've heard ideas about, a citizen academy. I like how you're engaging, that nonprofit sector too, because that's, having been a nonprofit director and volunteer, yeah, lots of times you don't know what you're getting into.
One of the things that happened in one of the fundraisers, they served alcohol and was quite successful. But the 3 weeks before that, the 9 or 10 stories about how you couldn't want this, that, and finally someone called up the alcohol commission and found out none of these things that were difficult even existed. And that's the training session would be very helpful. As these are some of the things that you have, and these things don't exist. But the word in the neighborhood is they are. A lot of our impediments are rumors. And if we could have a training session to get rid of some of those things, would be very helpful.
Yeah, I call them fake barriers, and I do not tolerate them very well.
Can I help bring a question back to the ACC? On the next steps for Jenna and Ken, the projects that you have currently on the agenda right now, are any of those projects yours? From my history of coming to the Arts and Cultural Commissions, it's been the commission members that have taken on these projects and recommended these projects and kind of taken ownership. But I don't recall if any of these projects were specifically either of yours.
No.
So I guess my next question is, Rachel discussed about kind of pausing and doing some training with the other commissions and everything. It would be up to you as the two of the three remaining members, that you could take a vote to postpone meetings until training or a later time that you guys feel comfortable taking on additional meetings, which would also mean putting those projects that are listed either on hold until a community member brings them forward, or you want to continue them.
My impression is that they have been, I'll say this kindly, have been on hold anyway, just for lack of effort and momentum. So I don't necessarily think that would be a problem.
I didn't see any other project listed that seemed to be time sensitive, so to speak.
About the book drops, though. I mean, I know
The book
that-
drops, I think Margaret can chime in, but she may be able to take that on herself since the RFP has already been done.
One of them is already completed.
That's right.
It's
okay.
just waiting to be installed so we can give up the other one to go to the artist. I was trying to pull up my pictures, but can you share my screen? Is that
Margaret,
possible?
I can make you a co-host, so you are able to share your screen.
Okay.
Should have that ability now.
Well, I was just gonna. I don't know if,
So do you see the share screen button near the bottom?
yeah, the pictures came to me in an odd form. They're not really attachments and they don't even show as the attachments. But can you see this?
Yes.
That's one face of the book drop. There's another one. That's supposed to be The Hobbit.
We can't see the second one, Margaret.
Oh, darn. I can't get it to open up for some reason. Let's try this. Oh, can you see that one?
No, we still see the first book drop that you.
Okay. Oh, it says my screen sharing is paused. How about that? Oh, there. Okay. But it keeps getting paused every time. Oh, okay. How about that?
There we go. That's the other side. Yep.
That's another side. That's supposed to be The Hobbit. And some of these are made to look like bookshelves. There's another one that's really cute, but it's got a arrow hanging off the shelf, and it's supposed to be The Hunger Games. But because these are in an email, that came to me. We'll see if I can.
Yeah, we can see your email now.
Okay, let's see if I could get there. That's the back of it. You see the
Oh, okay.
hand. This is The Hunger Games, and there's an arrow sitting here. And this book is called Homes in the Oregon Forest. And anyway, I think that these were the adult titles. I expect that the kid titles to maybe be a little brighter. But I am really pleased with how this turned out, simply because our book drops were just so shabby and awful looking. And this just is like a 100% improvement. For those of you who don't know, our patrons voted on their favorite book titles from a list of adult titles and a list of youth titles. And so the other book drop is going to portray the youth titles. And we had Kim and I worked on this project. She developed the RFP, and the staff here did the polling of the patrons and also looked into any possible copyright issues. But this project has been in the works for a long time. It's got started as a project by youth who were the same ones, some of the same ones that worked on the mural that's behind the old school. But the weather turned and they went back to school and nobody had the time, and they figured out that lettering was harder than they thought it was. And so Tony Doggett, who did one of the banners that's in front of the old school, the one with the otter and the fish, and who has done a lot of the different trash cans, came up with a really clever proposal to make the book drop look like bookshelves and put some of those titles on the shelves. So we're very close to completion. I don't have any concerns. The payment for this is coming out of the library budget, not the Arts and Cultural Commission budget. So all we have to do is swap it out and let her work on the other one, and we'll be home free.
Yeah, and Jenna and Ken, your funds that you have for the ACC would not go away. They would stay in that account until you were reestablished and restarted and doing projects. And anything that came in as a donation or anything in between now and then would still
Matt,
go.
you keep breaking up.
Sorry, better now?
Yeah.
Okay, so any of the funds will stay in the ACC. They will not be moved anywhere, as well as if any donations come in during the time that you may be on a pause or anything, then those funds will still go to the ACC and you'll still receive those funds. Well, we will just save them for you until you're ready to get back up and going.
Matt, you're having a really weird stereo effect. It's like you'll start loud and go in and out. No, that's great, and I'm glad to hear. And I think that I don't know, it makes sense to me. I mean, I am not a member, but it makes sense to me if you guys really want to, think through recruitment. Let's get some training under you and really think through mission. If you wanted to do some planning in the next little bit, and then maybe check in, let's try and do some training over the winter and check in early in the new year. Does that sound reasonable to you guys? I can't hear you.
Jenna, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
They're better. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Faintly.
I think that sounds like a really good plan. And kind of back to what Ken had mentioned, it would be great to get that training and have a little bit more clear idea before we go bringing other people into the mix, or even, and people that have applied for the council, like maybe they can come to some of these training sessions, and so that they have an idea of maybe what they'd be getting themselves into, or I think that sounds like a good plan.
And Jenna and Ken, and maybe Margaret can reaffirm this or not, the applicants that you saw for this last recent application, I believe are the old ones from a previous application. So I don't believe any of them are new ones. They were just old applications that were still out there.
Right. I think, no, we didn't receive any new applications, so.
Correct.
Yep. Correct.
So have you actually spoken with any of those recently?
Yeah. And as Ken mentioned, we had, we had a really great applicant come through that process. So,
Now, I know one of them,
heard back from, I think, 2 of them. So
Great.
well, I know that Kathy had said there were 4 applications that she had on file.
Right.
One of them turned out to be one of our library board members who applied and said he was interested in the Arts and Cultural Commission at the same time he said he was interested in the library board. So from that, you interviewed the 3?
we only were able to interview 2 of them.
Okay. So it sounds like you've got one in that group that you don't want to slip away, or you want to extend the training to both of these that you interviewed?
Yeah, I mean, or could it be just open to the community in general and not necessarily specific to people that applied for the commission? I mean,
Yeah, I think
I'm wondering where that person is left if they interviewed, and then, I mean, how do we close the loop with that, those 2 people that interviewed? How do you want to go forward with that?
Well, I think we could reach out to them and let them know that we're taking the 4th quarter of the year to kind of reassess where we're at and to get some training and to kind of bring a more solidified plan moving forward in the new year. And we tell them about the training and that we would like them to be a part of it and see how they feel about that. And maybe they would go through training and maybe that would be it for them and they wouldn't want to be involved, or maybe that would help them realize like what their position could be like. So
Yeah, and they were prepared to wait, like you mentioned, like Jenna mentioned, they were prepared that this was going to take some time. And I think we even told them that it would be November before we had our next meeting. And so just extending it out a couple more months would probably not be a problem. But I do really, really appreciate that one applicant and would not want to lose him, and would also like to see others come in, potentially new ones.
That's great. What are you 2 just sign up to reach out to those folks and just let them know where we're at? And
Yeah. Fortunately, it had been the
Okay.
2 of us doing this anyway. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. And I mean, really, let's think critically. And that's I like to be the partnership person. And if there are specific talents that you need, like, I'm really happy to talk that through and talk about different ways to recruit members too. I mean, maybe it's from our chamber, maybe it's from the school district, maybe it's from, our mental and behavioral health community. Maybe it's, like, think that through. And I'm happy to be a resource to you guys as you come through this,
Rachel
do
will
it.
likely be the one to reach out to you to set up training dates. And she put together all the training materials, so she's going to be your main contact for all.
Yeah. It's a team sport. It's municipal government. It's a team sport. I tell you what.
I was trying to throw you under the bus, Rachel. Yeah, I do have one quick process question. Since it looks like this may be the last meeting for at least a little while, I'm not 100% sure on Robert's rules, but does there have to be a motion to not have meetings for the next few months? And do we want to make a motion just to be safe?
Well, technically you didn't have a quorum. So this was just a discussion.
Okay.
Workshop.
So, but there's only 3 members.
Oh, so you do.
So we do have a quorum, Margaret.
But Carly's not here.
We have 2 out of the 3.
Oh, well, it became a quorum after the meeting came to order. Letty was the 3rd.
Well, there's Jenna, Ken, and one other member, correct?
Carly.
So there's 3 members total as of right now.
Yeah, well, it's not gonna hurt, for good measure, maybe you move to hiatus for additional training, to pause, I'm not sure what language, and maybe counselor, if you would like to, what language pleases the council?
You like the officialness, I don't care.
You're taking a winter break.
Yeah.
An official motion for winter break.
thing-
Well, and I think it's organizational development and planning time.
Yeah.
And that's a true story. That's how I would characterize it.
One of the things that's starting to sneak up on us again is it's becoming fall and winter, and people are starting to see possibly a bump in the virus coming back. So I think we're going to get hit with a bunch of confusion, and I don't know how the best way to weather that is ahead of time. Because if we have a real big rebound, to jump saying no, if we kind of mumble now and it comes and goes, it's not a big deal. That's where being too official might get us in trouble.
Maybe it's a motion to suspend official meetings.
Until further notice.
And then what was that?
You could say until further notice. That way you're not set to a specific time. It could be December, it could be
Yeah.
January, it could be July of 2024.
And then all you need is to move to resume official meetings.
Okay.
Correct. And so Ken, you would have to make that recommendation since Jenna is playing the chair right now.
Okay. So I will move to suspend meetings until further notice.
Then as the chair, I believe you're going to have to second. I'm not sure if that's official Robert rules, but we don't really have a choice.
It'll work.
Hey, Jenna, we can't hear you.
Oh.
There you go.
I second that.
So then, Jenna, now the correct process as a chair would be for you to call for a vote.
Okay, so can I get a vote? All those opposed, all those in favor?
Yes, aye.
Yes. Any opposed?
And Jenna, were you an aye or a
I
no?
was an aye. Oh, sorry, aye.
That's okay. It's all new process for all of you. So this is going to be part of the training.
Yeah. Well, and that's just protection, right? We keep the commission intact. We've suspended meetings, and we can do that organizational development and planning work to build and move forward.
I do have one question that's kind of related to our discussion items. I know that my seat was up for renewal this meeting. So I wanted to stay on the commission. So I guess how does that work to vote to re-up my seat? There's only
Another vote.
sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'll
guess.
motion.
Yeah, Ken would make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's think about it. You will move to renew Jenna's for Jenna's term to renew as a member of the Arts and Cultural Commission for the next 3 years. Or you can just move to renew Jenna's term.
Oh, okay. Well, I move to renew Jenna's term.
And you will second.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to second?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what
Yeah,
I was,
we
sorry.
don't have a choice.
Okay, I second. And then
All those in
after
favor? No, I
so
can't
yeah,
call
all
that.
those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion
We're getting
passes.
so much
Congratulations. Jenna.
That is probably the most complicated
This-
bit of procedure. Just the number of members made that amazingly difficult. Good job, guys.
If nothing else, Jenna, if we figure out that we need to have to redo it or something, whenever we reconvene a new meeting or something, we will re-up
Okay.
people and we can include you when we add other members and we'll figure it all out. So
Okay.
Actually, doesn't Steve take it to the council for their approval at the next meeting?
yes, he does.
but that would be a kind of a, I mean, if you're saying the group is going to pause, it might appear in some people's mind to be in conflict or, so anyway, some clarification about how you're the core group that is still actively part of the commission.
So that's a good point, and I guess my only discussion there would at least be bringing up that if none of these motions or anything are right, then the commission has no choice but to take a hiatus until they get a quorum member board.
The other thing is because of scheduling with the pandemic, we've chosen this. I've given you a reason as compared to a count.
Mm.
And the city council, we're informing you because of scheduling difficulties, we're taking a few months off, or we'll come back at a rescheduled time.
That's a great point,
I'm just
Counselor.
so grateful for your passion. Yeah, I'm so grateful for your passion and your commitment. Like it will be so. We will do the work and we'll get an appropriate motion through council. How's
The
that?
motion for a membership, that's not a problem. It's the scheduling, how we word that.
Yeah, okay. We'll figure it out.
So Jenna, unless there's anything else on the agenda or Councilor Topaz wants to discuss, you have the ability to close the meeting if there's nothing else that needs to be discussed. Hey, Jenna, we can't hear you again.
Does anybody have any other business or any community news they want to share? Okay, then I move to adjourn, or do I have to move or to adjourn?
No,
it?
you could just say adjourn the meeting.
Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting.
That's wonderful, you guys. Thank you so much. And let's follow